Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Ties That Bind DFW. I'm your host, Amber Monroe, and my goal is to foster unity within the community by sharing stories that inspire hope, passion, and resilience. In a world where there's so much focus on the divisiveness of social media, and not everything you see in the digital world is authentic, I'm here to bring the real. The views and opinions of my guests don't necessarily reflect mine or those of the Ties That Bind DFW. All right, let's get into it, everyone. I am very excited today to have on a friend of mine. She is an amazing blogger in the Arlington and surrounding areas. Her name is Stephanie Jarret, and I'm just glad to have her here to talk about her blog and the things that she's got going on in the community and ways that she's kind of having a set of eyes on all the new things that are coming up, restaurants, events. And I just want to thank you for coming, Stephanie. And if you would introduce yourself and kind of tell us a little bit about what you've got going on.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me, Amber. I appreciate it. It's good to see you again. So I am Stephanie Jarret. I am an influencer and content creator and mom of 3 girls here in the Arlington area. And then this year I have a bonus daughter as well because we're hosting an exchange student from Spain. So it's a little bit of a crazy household. Yeah, on my end this year. And I am the mom who likes to know and do everything. I'm not a homebody. It's just not my personality. And so I love to be out and exploring new places and checking out new things to do with my girls. And so that's kind of how I got started years ago. And my page and girls have kind of grown up together. And it's been a really fun journey.
Awesome. And okay, so what's the name? I know what it is, but I'm just blanking because I'm on the spot. What's the name of your blog?
So I blog and do Instagram and Facebook under the name of Everything Arlington and DFW. And so I have Facebook, Instagram, and then I also have a free just blogspot site that I started years ago because I do have a bachelor's degree in journalism. And so I love to write.
Wow.
And so even though I feel like writing is not super popular anymore, I do get about 10,000 hits a month on the blog site.
Oh, wow.
So somebody is out there looking at it for sure. So yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and then my blogspot site.
That's wonderful. That's a huge accomplishment. So yeah, never downplay that. So how long have you had your influencer and blogging and vlogging business? Like, when did you get started?
Yeah, so I like to tell people that I was kind of an influencer before influencing was like a profession that people actually pursue. I started this page actually in about mid 2016. So I started, that was kind of back at peak Facebook time. So really Instagram was still just really a place where you put vacation photos, and TikTok, I don't think was even a thing yet. And Facebook was where everybody was. And so I started there, and people had begged me for probably a year or two before that to start a public Facebook page. And, you know, I was that person when new places would open in DFW. I met you in a mom's group. So I was in several mom's groups when my kids were little. And I was the person who somebody would say, oh, there's this great new place I heard about in Frisco, or this great new place in Louisville. And I was the one going, okay, send me the link. I'll go tomorrow. And I would go and I would post it on my private Facebook page. And then friends would go to share that and say, well, my friends can't see your post because you have a private Facebook profile. They aren't your friend. Please make a public profile. And I resisted it. And then finally, decided to kind of take the plunge. And so I started posting, and it's been slow growth. Social media is a very fickle industry, as I'm sure you know, and it's had its ups and downs through the years, but it's been a lot of fun. And I hope someday, if my kids have questions about what they did when they were little, they can just go back to my page and they can see their whole childhood laid out before them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. So you've kind of got a ongoing, scrapbook, that's digital basically.
Correct.
That's
correct.
Yeah, I remember seeing, because I've been following you for a while, and I've known you for a while, and it's just all the places that you've been, whenever I'm thinking of what things are coming up on the weekend, I always hit up your page. I'm like, okay, what's Stephanie got going on? But yeah, even especially like in the earlier years, or as far as when I started kind of following you, I was just amazed. You said you're not a homebody, and I'm like, that is so true, because I'm watching and I'm like, how did she get to all these places? And you're in Frisco, then you're in Grand Prairie, and I just love that about you, and I admire it, because my one errand, I'll go to the gas station. I'm like, well, I've been out today. Time for my pajamas. So I love all of your content, and the way that you make it easy for people to find what's going on. And sometimes you'll put prices, and is it kid friendly, pet friendly? And I just love you for that. You do such an amazing job with that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. What would you say is, or was, your most exciting or fun, what am I trying to say, like reel that you've done, like event or place that you've been out to? What was the most, or you can be the most fun or the scariest or the weirdest. It all day.
Gosh, I know. I was trying to think about that before I hopped on here. We have done all the things. We have been all the places. I feel like in DFW, if I haven't been to your business, then there's a disconnect here, because I've been all the places. No, but it's funny, because sometimes making the reel doesn't always translate to what I think it's going to turn out. Like, I'll put up things that I think, oh, this is going to do so well, and then it flops. And then there are things that I will just kind of throw up because I owe somebody content, and it does amazingly well. So I will say that the things that have done really well content wise are not always the things that were the most fun for us to go to. But okay. I will say so one of my most successful reels has been, there is this great place it's technically in Fort Worth. It's up like off Jacksboro Highway, but to me, that's like Saginaw, Azle, Hazlet, way up there, far-ish from Arlington, but it's actually called Dinosaur Land. And I highly, highly, highly recommend it for younger kids. We discovered it last year, and my youngest is about to be 12, so I'm really not in that little kid realm anymore. But Dinosaur Land, for anybody in Fort Worth, or you're in Dallas, Frisco, and you're willing to drive, Dinosaur Land is this phenomenal play area. It's really affordable. They have kind of two separate areas, and one is like these animatronic dinosaurs, like you might see at a pop-up somewhere that you can like interact with. And then they have a whole second building that just has, a little like doctor's office and city. And we went last year about this time. So they had kind of a whole, pumpkin patch theme. We were there about 3 hours, and that was me begging the kids to leave because we had to be somewhere else, and it was dragging them out of there. And that reel, kind of went instantly viral, and it's sitting at like 600,000. And, after a while, things kind of die off, but it hit like 600,000 in like, 2 months or something. And so I would say that's been the best content and a super fun thing. But I would say my most favorite thing we've done recently is, as my kids get older, I would love to get into travel blogging, but right now my kids go to public school, and so we're very bound by the school schedule. But this past summer, New Braunfels had us down to experience New Braunfels, and we had actually, all the years I've lived in Texas, and my husband is a Texas native, we had never been to New Braunfels, never been to Schlitterbahn. I've been to Schlitterbahn in Galveston, but never the original Schlitterbahn, and if you're in Texas, people talk about Schlitterbahn nonstop. And so New Braunfels had us down. We got to stay at Schlitterbahn. We got to spend a day there, and then we got to spend a day kind of going to some of like the local places that the the Visitors Bureau recommends. And it was so fun. Schlitterbahn is absolutely worth the hype. We were there probably 8 hours and felt like we could have spent 4 more days there. We wish we had had more time. It was kind of one of those weekends that were just jam-packed with fun things and not enough hours in a day. But we loved it. And the coolest part was that, they had us down and kind of gave us an itinerary and gave us their whole, here's how we recommend you, attack this. And it was a blast. So that was kind of my most recent fun thing. And I think if you asked my kids, I think they would tell you that too. Some of those rides, they have like the water coasters. And I mean, it was a ton of fun. So I would say recently it's been New Braunfels has been kind of the highlight for sure.
That's really great. So if anybody is listening and you have a great location or hotel or something that would require travel, Stephanie is your girl to come and check it out and give a great review and try all the things.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so she's your girl for that. And I'll keep my eyes and ears open for any opportunities like that for you.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned a little bit before about real traction and how social media is kind of finicky. Do you want to expand on like any challenges that you come upon as an influencer, as a blogger, anything just that people might want to look out for if they're interested in doing something similar?
Oh gosh. I mean, if anybody can crack the algorithm and figure out how to make this a full-time job, please call me, message me. I want to know. I think the biggest misconception is that people, they see your online persona and they see your follower count and they see, like you said, all the places that I go, and they assume this is my full-time job. And I can tell you, I can't even pay my water bill some months on what I make off social media, unfortunately. So it's very fickle. That said, it's a ton of fun. I do it because we just have a blast. I mean, we get to do a lot of fun things. But it is hard. And I will say, when I started on Facebook in 2016, people were kind of hungry for it. It was still, the influencing world was still kind of new. I think about years ago, Nordstrom was kind of the first company to really like leverage social media to promote their products. And there was kind of a big lawsuit because that was how a lot of this came about with, hashtag hosted and hashtag ad and some of that stuff, because they just had a bunch of beautiful girls show up in a certain dress and promote it, and people had no idea these girls were wearing this dress, and if you clicked the link, that they were making a commission off you buying this dress, and so there were kind of lots of lawsuits that came up, and I feel like in the years since then, there's just been so much kind of a spotlight on the industry, and knowing what's paid and what's not paid, but also just kind of curating your feed to find the things that you want to find and following the people you want to follow. But I think from an influencer standpoint, when I first started this in 2016, being an influencer was still, like I said, not something that a lot of people did. It's something that was fairly uncommon. It was not like a profession people aspired to. And even now, I would say most of the people that I follow, that I'm personally friends with in real life, they all have full-time jobs outside of social media. And it's just, even some of the big pages that you might know, people that have, 6 figures worth of followers, they still work full time. And this is something that is, their vacation fund or their retirement fund, or, not full time. But for a lot of us, I think just the fun activities you get to do make it worth it. But it's always challenging. I think as the years roll on, more and more people are trying to, just like in any field, right? You get people see the lifestyle and they want to hit it big with influencing, and they see the glamour and all of that. But it is work. I mean, I will tell you that, yes, you do see me get to go to these really fun activities, and that's fantastic. But the flip side of that is, if you go and, you go to XYZ amusement park and you are going there, even if you got free admission and they're giving you dinner because you're there making content, everything you're experiencing, you have to make sure you've got the right photos, you've got the right
Right.
footage. Maybe you're going back and doing something 3 and 4 different times because you didn't get the right picture the first time. Your kids are like, Mom, seriously, done. Move on. You know, your kids are getting irritated with you because you're like, if you would just stand and smile, like I've asked it 12 times, you
Yeah.
know, and they're over it. And so you're kind of getting on to them to you're prolonging this, but you know, so you're at this event, but you're not necessarily enjoying it the way you would if you were just a customer coming in with paid tickets. And then you're getting home and you're trying to curate, you know, the right, how are you writing your caption? And then you're editing a reel. I mean, I will tell you, I spend, you know, probably an hour working on editing photos, editing a reel, and editing a caption, you know, and that's after I've gone and done the event. And if the event is, you know, in Frisco or Garland or North Fort Worth, you know, I've spent an hour drive time, and then I've experienced the event, and then I've had to come home and I've had to kind of sit on it. And then, of course, you know, what do they say in media? If you're not first, you're last, you know, and you want to get the reel up in a timely manner, because if you are one of the first people to put it out there, then you have kind of the hope that yours will go viral. And if yours goes viral, that's bringing you more followers, and more followers means a better chance for, you know, monetizing that reel or more opportunities for collaborations and things. So it's definitely a hustle, you know, and for everybody that thinks influencing isn't a real gig or that influencers shouldn't be paid, it is work, you know. I mean, we do enjoy everything that we do, but you can ask my kids. I mean, we get places and, you know, a restaurant serves us food and I'm always like, nobody eats, everybody pull your hands off the table, nobody eats, you know. They get real tired of me real fast. I'm like, the faster you cooperate, the faster you get to inhale this food. But you know, it's work. It's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. I'm still doing it after all these years, you know, but
Yeah.
it is work. It is a hustle. And as more and more people try to kind of break into the field, it definitely creates more kind of competition, but I'm still here, so it must be fun, right?
Yes. Yes, you are. And you know, it's so funny. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that's like, wait, I can't eat yet. Or at least for me, I'm like, we're gonna get some pictures, or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it is work, and that's something that I think people don't understand. You know how much goes behind every reel or photo. You know, it's curated, and but like I said, I think you do a wonderful job. And you know, there is, to an extent, there's definitely, I feel like, some competition here and there, but it's great to be a real live person, real live in person at a place. And you know, as time and technology races forward, I don't think people realize the importance of a real live person at a real live restaurant giving their take on something. That's going to be a rarity, I think, in the years coming. And I think that's amazing what you're doing. And you've already got such a great base and such a great repertoire, resume, or whatever. So I think you're ahead. I'm just saying.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was about to say you've been at it for a hot minute. Well, I guess I was going to ask, you know, kind of what's the best part of influencing and doing reviews, which I think you've answered that pretty much. You know, sounds like you're getting so much out of it and building so many memories for your children. I guess my next question would be, do you have anything coming up, anything you want to plug that we should know about?
I mean, obviously, as we head into the holiday season, I think, you know, DFW is such a fun place to be for, you know, not only Halloween. I feel like there are so many amazing Halloween opportunities coming up. And I know that spooky season is not for everybody, and that's, you know, totally cool. If it's not your jam, it's definitely my kids. We live for the Halloween season, so it's definitely our jam. But, you know, there are so many cool things happening in DFW. You've got, you know, the brand new Beaumont Hotel came out this year at the Galleria, Dallas Galleria. So it kind of reminded me of Meow Wolf, if you've been there, in Grapevine, but
Not yet.
it's kind of hard to put into words. It's the whole premise is it's this spooky hotel that was built, a century ago, and it was built to be this grand hotel, and then the owner's wife disappeared, and you kind of go and solve the mystery. And so it's spooky. It's not scary. I would not tell you that you can't bring little kids. I would tell you that it is kind of, it's mysterious, and it's a lot of dark rooms and some, kind of little spookier parts, but not scary. So that's a ton of fun. And then of course, Arlington, we have pumpkin nights, which has been one of my favorite activities of the Halloween season the past couple of years. It's kind of like the Goosebump movie has come to life right here in Arlington. And it's like this mile-ish walk through these different lighted areas. So it's a blast. And then, Screams has kind of relaunched this year. So in DFW, Screams has always been this, it's down in Waxahachie, and it's where Scarborough Renaissance Festival is in the springtime. And in the fall, they've always done this like super, super scary, the stuff your nightmares are made of, haunted houses, right? And this year they've gone to something a little bit more family friendly. And so we actually haven't gone. I actually would love to go, but it's more of like a family, like a spooky family festival. So you've got that. And then, we've got some great, like, kind of farms in the area. You've got Mainstay Farm, you've got Blaze Family Farms. And then, of course, you've got Six Flags Fright Fest. And, this year they are also debuting a more like kid-friendly component. So if you have the younger kids who, don't want monsters and haunted houses and all that, you can still go during the day and trick or treat and do some kind of G-rated Halloween fun. And then if you come once the sun starts to set, then you start to get all the kind of horror aspects. And my husband and I got to go when they had kind of the media debut of the haunted houses, and they're pretty good. Again, spooky is our season, and we love everything spooky. And so we got to go, and my kids were like, I can't believe you're not bringing us. But it was a media day. So we got to go as the media and see them all and behind the scenes and just kind of all the work that goes into that. But of course, as we go into like the Christmas season, and then also, Denton is, did you know that this time of year, it's like I just learned this morning, like every October, Denton's like official, like legally registered name is like Halloween Town or Halloween something like that.
I didn't know that.
So it is now like the Halloween capital of North Texas.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm dying to go. I've only been to Denton like twice all the years I've lived here. So this year I'm telling you, I'm going to get up there. I'm going to get to Denton and see all the Halloween fun. But so there's so many fun things. And then of course, as Christmas comes, you have Ice at the Gaylord, and you have the Tianu Lights Festival in Grand Prairie that's coming back for a second year. And it was last year we went to that and we were blown away. Just spectacular lights and magic and all of that. And, you've got Coca-Cola Christmas or Classic Christmas that's over here at Choctaw in Arlington. And so there's so much coming up. And then even just as we look into next year, we've got the new Universal Kids Park coming up to Frisco. And, of course, my kids are a little old for that. Sadly, it absolutely kills me. We just had Peppa Pig open last year in North Richland Hills, and it is darling. Definitely, for the younger kids, I would say. If I say 6, 7, I'm gonna I want to say 6, 7, and my kids would go 6, 7. But
I can't even adjust the AC anymore in my house. Okay, I get it.
It's one of those things you don't realize how much you say 6, 7 until your kids, every time you say it, are like 6, 7, and you think, oh my gosh. But
I feel your pain.
It is like 6 or 7-year-olds and younger are the perfect age group for Peppa Pig. And then we're getting the new Dig World is coming to Grapevine. Have you been there in Houston?
No.
So it's like this world. I've not been there. I've been invited. It's just never, I'm not in Houston as much as I would like to be. I love Houston. But it's this like area where kids can go and experience like big construction machines, like we're talking like actual diggers and the stuff you see at construction sites. They can go and play with all of this stuff. So how cool is that? That's coming next year to DFW. We're getting a Bubble Land pop-up at Grapevine Mills that opens actually in 2 weeks, and it's kind of like an immersive play zone. I think not just targeted at kids. I think a little bit of everybody. You know, we're getting a Harry Potter exhibition that opens next month. It's going to be over in Dallas, and I'm a massive Harry Potter fan, so I'm like super excited about that. We're getting a Dungeons and Dragons immersive experience in Plano, and I've never played Dungeons and Dragons. I know it's a super popular kind of role play activity. I'm super intrigued by it. They had a pop-up about a year ago that was Minecraft that the girls and I went to, and I've never played Minecraft. My kids are not big Minecraft players, but I found we went and had a great time, and I had no knowledge of Minecraft and still found it to be fun and engaging and all of that. So I'm excited about Dungeons and Dragons because I think no experience necessary. You can just really go and have fun either way. And so that opens pretty soon. And then again, you've got all the holiday fun that's coming. So it's really a fun time. And I love being at all of it. So like, I love, you know, when I tell people about this kind of stuff and they're like, oh, I had no idea. I'm like, I know. It's just exciting. I mean, I think there's always something new and awesome coming to DFW. And of course we love being kind of right in the middle of it, you know, so that Dallas isn't too far for us and Fort Worth isn't too far. And so, you know, we hope to be at all of it and experience it all. And it's a ton of fun.
Neat. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot coming up. I need to get my calendar out and make some trips here and there. Okay, that's what's up. And yeah, you guys, you can go to her website or like mainly, you know, Facebook, Instagram, and find out more because she's going to be posting as time goes on about all these great places, and something that you told me, you know, before, that you get to preview these things early. So she's probably seen or will be seeing some things kind of early on and be putting the word out about that. But yeah, you know, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. And, you know, like I said, I followed you for a while. I'm so proud of what you're doing. And I love seeing all the content that you have. And also, again, putting the word out. Anybody listening that's got a great destination site, hotel, something, reach out to Stephanie and she will do a great review. So definitely be looking for her. You have any last words before we wrap up our episode today?
No, it was so great to talk to you. I really appreciate you having me on here and thinking of me as kind of a go-to source in DFW. That's always an honor when people want my expertise. So, but no, it's been so great to talk to you, and hopefully we'll get to meet up at one of these events sometime soon, and I can see your kiddos. I know they're probably a lot different than the last time I saw them because it's just, you know, time waits for no one, you know. So it's one of those
indeed. And one more time for our listeners, I'll be linking this as I post, but the name of your blog, I don't know why I was about to say vlog. It's Everything Arlington, Texas and Surrounding.
No, it's Everything Arlington and DFW. That's my handle on Facebook and Instagram. And then I can send you my blog too. My blog that, again, I get about 10,000 hits a month, but my blog is everythingarlingtontx.blogspot.com. And I don't maintain it as much as I used to, but I definitely have the traffic there. So I should, but I'm always happy. I love to write. So anybody that wants, I do have people that still come to me and they're like, no, I would love like a stationary link to a blog and kind of something stationary that has links. So I offer that up as well. And then I do Instagram and Facebook. So
wonderful. And do you know about how many, if you could tell me real quick, if not, that's fine, how many followers you have on Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, I've got about 28,000 on Facebook, and then oh man, my goal for the end of the year on Instagram is 30,000, but I'm sitting right below 24,000 right now. So I'm just working on it. It's like I said, it's a fickle business, but I'm
yes,
at it
that's amazing though.
Yes. Well,
those are some amazing numbers. And then hopefully this will get you up a little bit higher too.
Yeah, I would love that. I can't wait to share it on my socials too. I will definitely share it, and hopefully, you know, you'll get some listens out of it too. So.
Awesome. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to another episode of the Ties That Bind DFW. Stay tuned for another great episode, and God bless. Bye. Thank you, Stephanie.
Bye. Yeah. Thank you.